we have given function y, variable is x. Because we have here difference, it means we have to find the derivative of first expression and the second. And because we have division, it means we have to use 2 times quotient rule. Let me remind you this rule. When we have u over v prime, this is equal. In denominator, we put v to second power. And I always start numerator from v to avoid confusion. We have v and v times u prime minus v prime times u. What else we use here? Because we have sine to second power, so we have to use the derivative of function raised to a power. So this formula is when we have x to power n, we have to take down this power, so it's n times x to power n minus 1. And we have derivative of sine, we know what is cosine, and derivative of cosine is negative sine. I will write this to formula. So we have sine of x, derivative is cosine of x, and derivative of cosine of x is negative sine of x. Before we are going to find the derivative of our function, let me remind you, then when we have sine square, it means we have sine of x to second power over, we have cosine of x to power 6, we have 6, minus 2 over 5 times cosine of x to power 5. Now we can find the derivative of our function. Y prime is equal, we have to use quotient rule. So the denominator is v squared, it means we have cosine of x to power 6 and everything to power 2. In numerator, first we have to just copy, we have v, it means we have to copy this denominator, so will be cosine of x to power 6 times derivative of numerator. Derivative we have sine x to second power, so we have to use the power rule. So we take down the power, so it will be 2 times sine of x to power 2 minus 1 times, because we have composite function, we have to now find the derivative of sine. Derivative of sine is cosine, so we have times cosine of x. Next we have minus. Now we have to find the derivative of denominator. Again we have to use the power rule, so we have to take down 6. We have 6 times cosine of x to power 6 minus 1 times the derivative of expression inside the parentheses. Derivative of cosine is negative sine, so we have times negative sine of x. So now we have derivative of our v function times we have u. U is our numerator, so we have times sine of x to second power. This is the derivative of our first expression. Now we have sine minus, and we have to find the derivative of next expression. Again we have to use quotient rule. Denominator we have to just copy and take to the second power, so we have 5 times cosine of x to power 5, everything to power 2. And in numerator, we have first 5 times cosine of x to power 5 times u prime. It means we have to find the derivative of our numerator. Numerator is 2. So we have times derivative of constant is 0. So we have times 0 minus v prime. So it means we have to find the derivative of our denominator. Always when we have constant, we copy this constant. And again, we have to find the derivative of function raised to a power. So we take down this power, times will be 5. And we copy this whole expression in parentheses. Everything will be to power 5 minus 1. I just used this rule. Times, because again we have composite function. Now we have to find the derivative of function which is in parentheses. Derivative of cosine is negative sine of x times u. It means times our expression which is in numerator. This is equal. Now we will organize our derivative. We have cosine to power 6 times cosine. So it will be cosine to power 7. And we have constant 2. So first I will copy the 2 times cosine of x to power 7. And we have sine of x to first power. So it will be just sine of x. Next, we have negative times negative will be positive. We have 6. Cosine to power 5 times sine of x times sine of x to second power. So we will have sine of x to power third over, we have cosine of x, and we have power to power, so it will be 6 times 2 is 12, minus 0 times this expression will be 0, so we don't have this expression. Negative times negative will be positive, so we have positive number in numerator, and 5 times 5 is 25 times 2 is 50. We have cosine of x to power 5 minus 1 is 4 times sine of x over, and we have to take to second power 5, it will be 25 times cosine of x, power to power, so we have to multiply 5 times 2 is 10. This is equal. Now we can factorize in numerator in the first expression cosine of x to power 5. So this is equal cosine of x to power 5, and in parentheses we will have 2 times cosine of x to second power times sine of x plus, now we don't have this whole expression, cosine to fifth power, we have only 6 times sine of x to power third over cosine of x to power 12. We can reduce because we have multiplication here. 5 cosine of x to fifth power, 12 minus 5 is 7. And next we have minus 50 with 25 we can reduce, will be 2. And cosine to 4th power and cosine to the 10th power we can reduce. So 10 minus 4 is 6. So we have in numerator 2 sine of x over cosine of x to 6th power. So this is equal. We have 2 times, we just copy this expression in parentheses, cosine to the 2nd power of x times sine of x plus 6 times sine to 3rd power over cosine of x to 7th power minus 2 times sine of x over cosine of x to 6th power. This is equal. The common denominator will be cosine to 7th power and we have to copy the first numerator, 2 cosine square x sine x plus 6 sine cube x, and now we have to multiply numerator by cosine x. So it will be minus 2 sine x times cosine x. This is my solution.